November 8th, this fall in San Diego, California, we'll be at the Balboa Theater for the live podcast tour. Chicago, Birmingham, and Nashville are already sold out, but we still got tickets left in San Diego. If you guys want to come out, experience the presence of the Lord, worship with us, I believe that the word God has stored in my heart for San Diego is going to be so specific to the city and break chains. So if you live in Southern California, San Diego, or you just want to come, experience the presence of the Lord, and have fun at the live podcast tour, go to jesusinthestreet.org/tour. Come out to San Diego. We got some seats left. Love you guys. Enjoy the episode. Guys, welcome back to another episode of the Bryce Crawford podcast. I'm Bryce. Today, I have a really good friend of mine, George Janko. George.
Hi, guys.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, man.
So you just got back
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Hey! Oh, you just got back from a good vacation, right?
Yeah.
Where you went to Greece?
Yes, sir.
How was it?
It was great. It was really awesome. We're about to go on tour, so God gave us a little time that we could go get away and be together and just meditate and pray in the most beautiful places, and I just feel refreshed.
Do they have a beach in Greece?
Yes.
Okay, I've never been to Greece, so I don't know, but I feel like God speaks to me like when I go to the beach. I don't get the opportunity to go to Greece. I go to like Panama City Beach in Florida, but even there, like I feel I don't know. There's something about being on sand and like being near the water that like gets me so peaceful. And I feel like God speaks to me. Like the floating in the water kind of thing. You know?
It's also being alone.
Yeah, it's just so nice. Do you ever feel like with social media? I mean, you've been doing social media for a long time.
Yeah.
Because you were on Vine.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I wasn't even old enough to have a phone to even get Vine on it. Think about how old you are right now.
Dude, you know what's even crazier? I was at a show, and this guy came up to me. He goes, "Could we recreate a picture?" This dude's taller than me now. Shows me a picture of him. And he's like to my hip as a kid. So I took a picture of him when he was a little boy. And then now he's like taller than me. And bro, that hit me hard, dude.
When you were on Vine?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I've been doing this for almost 12 years now.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm only saying this because Chris has had pictures with just about everybody. Do you have one with George when you were younger? Because you have pictures with literally like everyone that's been
I met you probably 2017.
Really? Like a 1600?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
That's so wild though. You know, you've been around for so long. You're so old, man.
Yeah.
You're so. I'm just kidding. That's like all I do. We're only like 2 minutes in. And I'm just like blaming you the whole time. The question I was trying to ask.
Oh, there was a question. Good. I just wanted to make sure there was a question.
The question I was trying to ask you was like, do you kind of feel like I mean, you've been doing social media for 12 years. Do you feel like I don't know, like a pressure to be perfect, I guess?
Nah, I actually ever since I went off on my own, I was so desperate and I was like, whatever, I'm just going to tell the truth all the time. And I found that there's such a strength to showing your flaws. It's so much better to be not perfect and just own that and just stay in front of the world and just be like, yo, I'm working on this. I'm working on that. Like my addiction with marijuana or anything like swearing or lusting or prideful stuff. Like if I just put it out there and I dance in front of the world the way I dance in the closet with God, I don't have any fear, anxiety, or depression because I'm not scared of them catching me in an act that I'm trying to hide. It's just, I am who I am, in my home and outside.
I think that's the biggest strength. That's my favorite thing about you is how vulnerable you are because it's empowering and encouraging. And when you live in the light, no one could really say anything about you. You know what I mean? You just kind of everything's out there and you're just like, yep, that's just how it is, you know?
Well, yes, I thought that, but then there's people that would lie about you.
Right.
And then that hurt. That was my next thing. And when I dealt with that, I asked God, I was like, I don't know how to deal with this. And I just sat there and somebody told me, they go, well, bro, they killed Jesus.
Yeah.
They lied on Jesus' name and killed him. The perfect man, they made him look like he was a drunken fool.
Yeah.
And so I got carried away with looking at the cross and then looking at the world's comments and then looking at the cross and then looking at the world's comments. And then I grew wisdom to know that this will come and go. People will hate me and then later on love me. So it's pointless for me to stay in a world that's wishy-washy. Yeah. But I stay to a God that's so true and focused that I'm just all right, I'm just stay. I feel a little bit more strong. Yeah. I'm standing on the rock and it's not quicksand. The earth is it comes and goes.
Yeah.
But Jesus is a rock, so I could just stand on him.
How do you deal with the opinions of people?
I realize that there's times where I don't like myself and there's times that I like myself. And then if I ask God, I want to be an entertainer and be in front of the world, bro, like it's foolish for me to think that there's not going to be people that dislike me. But it's cool if I stick around and I show them my fruits and I just continue to walk where I'm walking. It's either eventually they'll just be like, actually, I don't like that kid at all. Or, wow, I really do like that kid. And I grew up hated a lot as a kid. Like I got hated. Like when I was in the 3rd grade, I got held back. And I learned something in the 3rd grade that I kept with my heart forever. In the 3rd grade, I tried to pretend to be something for people not to like me, and they hated him. And I was like, well, hold on. Myself, they hated, and then the fake person they hated. Then why don't I just be who I am?
Yeah.
That way they at least hate who I really am and not something I'm pretending to be. And so I kept that motion my whole life.
So you kind of feel like you kind of got a grip on that like pretty young.
Really young.
Yeah.
Yeah, very young.
Yeah. So and invite us into your faith journey. You know, I think definitely for people that have seen you around on social media over the years, like you've been outspoken about your faith, I would say, for a good amount of time. But like, you know, I grew up in church, but I didn't follow Jesus and put my faith in him until I was 17. And I went to a private Christian school. So like, was there like an age that it clicked for you, or an age that your faith became personal? What was that kind of like?
I think that like God will humble a man, kind of like Jacob when he wrestles with him. I think there's a lot of wisdom to that, right? Like, I think when we wrestle with God, we're able to be humbled and realize like what we should be focused on. So a lot of things that people are going through, they think it's a curse, but it's really to bring you closer to God. And so throughout my life, I've realized that all of my greatest moments that I was really excited about were actually my lowest moments where he raised me up high. So my relationship with God has always blossomed because I knew that I could always run to my father like a good father. So I've always had a relationship with him. Since I was a kid, I didn't have friends growing up. And when my mom taught me about Jesus, like she put so much love in my heart for Jesus that I would talk to him like every day since I was like a very young guy. And when I came to Hollywood, I got so busy. And then my relationship with him kind of like pulled back and I felt the distance. It's kind of like I personally just chose to leave the light and go into the dark.
Wow.
And then it took me years to realize why I felt this way. And then when I came back, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to leave this. This is my home.
Yeah. And when you talk about like when you moved to Hollywood and then you had that gap when you were pulling away, I mean, I think like you could definitely feel it. Like when I moved out here, I could feel how people get sucked into that culture of LA, you know? What, like when you describe that darkness, like what did that look like, that time period when it pulled away? Was
it just feels like emptiness. And by the way, it wasn't like I got involved in like drugs or like crazy things. I like was carrying the same sins that I was doing when I had my relationship with Jesus. It's just kind of like a relationship. Like if me and you hang out, but then we stop hanging out, like I'm going to feel that. So when I see you next, it's a little like, well, how have you been? Like, but with him, like every time I came back, it just felt like I was breathing again. So thank God I never got so far away. But I also think that was because of my mother's prayers. And my one prayer that I asked God when I came here, I was like, before I even auditioned or even I didn't even have Vine on my phone. Like I had nothing. And I asked God, I said, like, if it takes me 1 inch away from you, I don't want it.
Wow.
So I think the reason why my success came at the time it came is because he didn't want to give it to me if it pushed me away from him, because he's going off the prayer that I asked him.
Wow.
And so till this day, like I have so many blessings in my life, but even including my wife or anything that material wise or anything like that, like none of them even come close to how much I love God. So like, as long as I stay there with my heart, then if I'm ready to give everything up for him, then I feel like I'm in a good place. But once I start accidentally, and I do mean the word accidentally because we do that accidentally, when I start worshiping other things out of fear, because I think you worship what you fear. So when I was in LA and I couldn't pay my bills and it was like my first time as a man, I started worshiping money because I was like, oh, these pay my bills. And then I had to quickly turn my head around and be like, whoa, no. I go, money comes from God. He'll give it to me when I need it. And bro, like I remember days where I would walk to my mailbox praying to God, praising him. I didn't even know how I was going to pay next week's rent. I'm not joking. And I would open up my mailbox and a check would come in there. And I would be like, this is wildly too perfect timing. And so like, he's always given me what I've needed, nothing more to take me away from him and nothing less to take me away from him. Not that less would take me away from him, but like, I just feel that everything that I have is from God, and so I worship it I worship him and not the materialistic things.
I love how open-handed you live. I feel like that's like the most crucial part of living with Jesus is like living that open-handed life with everything.
Everything,
Relationships, friendships, money, work, the whole 9 yards. And I love how you emphasize your mother's prayers for you.
Bro, it's needed because it's like I was walking blindly and it was her faith that kept the spirit hovering me through my mistakes. Like I do believe in praying for others, man. Like okay, let's put it this way. Like my grandma and my grandpa, their prayers over me, my mother's prayers over me. It's not like God didn't hear them. So it's like if somebody gave you money, which I think prayers and blessings are way greater than money, you're going to thank them. So you got to like make sure you're knowing where it's coming from, and that will humble you. If I walked around being like, no, it's my talent that got me this money, or do I say, where did I get this talent from?
Yeah.
You got to always make sure that you're appropriate with your appreciation,
Right.
because then it becomes pride.
Right.
And I think that's what, as a man, I deal with, and I always try to lock in. You know, I used to deal with sin aggressively. The one thing that I try to deal aggressively is my pride, because at the moment in my life, the success that I have and the power that I have, the only enemy that I have is myself.
Yeah.
Nobody else could be my downfall. God gave me everything at my fingertips. So now I got to make sure that I'm choosing him and not me. If that makes any sense.
No, that makes total sense. I mean, you know, pride's the original sin, like man thinking they could be greater than God or convincing themselves they can be greater than God. I think that's a huge encouragement to a lot of people, especially like, I mean, I think like people are transitioning out of high school, whether they're going to college or like, you know, kind of like that time period where you're like, all right, I'm moving to LA. Your initial thing was like acting, right? Like you moved out to act, like kind of transitioning into like independent lifestyle. It's easy to fall into that category of like worshiping work, worshiping money, worshiping friendships when you feel lonely, you know, all of those things. You know, what would the encouragement be to someone that's in that transition time period of like practically how to get out of that and like enslavement to those things?
Choose what you fear wisely. For real. I'm at a place in my life where I only fear God, because you worship what you fear. So I fear God, then for I'll worship him. In the gospel, it says, the beginning of wisdom is fear of the Lord. And I think it's because, like, think about it. If you fear your parents, you're going to be obedient.
Yep.
If you don't fear your parents, you'll do whatever you want. And it's kind of like you're letting yourself loose to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Another thing I would say is ask the Lord way more than you think. My mom used to tell me, invite the Lord on the little things. Don't just invite him on the big things. If you invite him on the big things, he'll show up for sure.
Yeah.
But like the little things, like if I have a reflection in my heart or thoughts or an imagination or a dream or a relationship, I invite him in everything. How do you want me to see this? Because if I could see it from his perspective, then I could see it from the greatest perspective.
Yeah.
But if I see it from my perspective, my emotions get in the way. Or the way my parents raised me gets in the way.
Yeah.
Or the way my school taught me gets in the way. But if I ask him, Lord, like, wash my eyes, open my ears.
Yeah.
That's why, like, if you read the gospel, like Jesus says, for those of you that have ears and want to hear.
Yep.
Because not everybody who has ears will hear him, because we're choosing not to hear him.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so good. I love that verse in it's Psalm 25, verse 14. King David says that the friendship of the Lord is for those who fear him. That like if you want to be friends with God, you have to have that fear of the Lord, like that deep, affectionate reverence and respect. And I just think that's so true. Like the moments in my life when I humble myself before God, that's when I live an abundant life. And I don't mean like physically like abundant, like I mean like I reap the fruits of the Spirit in my life. Like my life is abundant and joyful and patient and kind, and I'm loving and I'm selfless and all those things when I begin to fear God. And then when I don't fear God, that's when I'm like, oh, why do I feel anxious? Or why do I feel this? Or why is this thing stressing me out? Or maybe it's even on the contrary of like, why do I feel like this sin struggle I haven't struggled with in a long time, the temptation is creeping on me? Or like, why? Because my eyes are like everywhere but Jesus. You know, if I think that's the prime encouragement. I love that. I think that's great.
That's what my tour is about, actually. So my tour is called The Man on Water.
Uh-huh.
And I don't want to give it too much because people are paying to like go and see
Yeah.
it. I want to surprise them with the show.
Yeah.
But like the positioning is like I wanted to share what my mom and dad taught me, and also the lessons that I learned from God. And the most important one is anxiety and depression now sweeping the nation.
Mm-hmm.
And if I told any man like, hey, what does it feel to be anxious or depressed? They describe like they can't breathe.
Yeah.
Some might say it's like underneath water.
Mm.
And I told them, I go, okay, isn't it beautiful that God describes that with Peter? The moment that Peter took his eyes off of Jesus and looked at the problem, he can't breathe no more.
Mm.
But the moment that he took his eyes and put it back on Jesus, he could breathe again. So I'm trying to go out across America with comedy and the podcast and like do it the same way my mom and dad taught me. My mom was never like strict, like read the Bible, you got to do this. My mom would lovingly tell me funny stories and like situations, and my dad would put me in situations to make me really like understand the gospel.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
No, that makes total sense. And I think that's I think that's the best. Like, it's not, your mom wasn't endorsing your behavior, but she was like encouraging like a faithfulness to Jesus.
Yeah.
In a loving way. That's the best.
I used to be like guilty. I'd be like, well, mom, like, well, what if God doesn't want me to do this? She goes, that's the devil. And she goes, and also she goes, you're rejecting what God gave you. And once I really locked in, bro, and I said, all right, well, these talents came from you, Lord. I go, so you do what you will with it. Bro, that's when I left Impulsive.
Wow.
It was crazy watching it all happen. When I saw that form, he like started paving my way. And before all that mess happened, I would always cry to my mom about my fears and all that stuff. And one day she went to bed and she cried out to the Lord, and she felt like this deep pain in her chest. And the Lord visited her in her dream. And in the dream, she's sitting there, she's trying to clean my room and she can't clean it. It's too dirty. And so she's sitting there, she's weeping. And the Lord comes in, but not like in a physical form, just as a light form. And she like bows her head, and he says to her, he goes, tell your son to go that way. But where we looked in the dream, there was nothing there. It was emptiness and darkness. But she didn't doubt him. So she grabs me and she goes, go that way. And I don't doubt my mom, and I don't doubt God in my dream. And I run to the direction of emptiness. And as my feet are touching the ground, the Lord is paving ways for me and just making all these things around me. Like, it was crazy. It was a crazy dream. And then the next day I left Impulsive.
That's insane.
Yeah. And she didn't know that dream. So I'm sorry, I didn't know that dream. After everything happened and I told her, I was like, Mom, I don't know where I'm going. Like, where I'm going, I'm lost. This is all empty. And she goes, I got to tell you about my dream. And that's when she told me my dream. So then I buckled down and I like leaned into the faith. And yeah.
Isn't that so cool? We started the videos off of a dream God gave us.
Yeah.
Like, I had moved to LA just because I felt like the Lord was leading me here. And then I was kind of doing everything. We were doing Bible study on Wednesday night, house church on Sunday night, feeding the homeless on Friday night. Like, I was kind of doing everything for about the first year and a half. And then I was like, man, God, I want to know what my purpose is. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I want to do something for you. I want to run hard and punch it in the mouth and like, that kind of thing. And then I had a dream one night, and it's kind of like you get this dream or God lays, you have talents and gifts, and you know that those gifts aren't just small gifts. They're big gifts, and they're going to impact a lot of people, but you don't know what that looks like.
Yeah.
You just have that healthy burden on your chest of like, I'm going to do something with the gifts God has given me. I'm like, man, God, I want to do something with my life for you. And then I get that dream, and it's kind of like the same thing. It's like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do it. And then the faithfulness of God rewards the faithfulness and all of those things. And like, now you're going on tour and you're going to get to bless people. That's insane. Where can people get tickets? So
sorry. One thing, it caught my spirit, caught it. I can't bless people. Like, God uses me to bless people. But I don't like saying that I bless people because I'm just not worthy to bless people. Like,
God's using you to bless people.
I just want to make sure that nobody's like coming to my show thinking that I can bless them. I cannot bless them. Like, I'm coming to make people laugh and tell stories and just be George. And if God could use me in any way, shape, or form, then so be it. But I am not responsible of handing out blessings.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but if you want to come and enjoy like comedy and like watch the podcast, it's thegeorgejankoshow.com.
Yeah.
We're going to 20 cities.
Let's go.
Yeah. But I actually had a dream once, like when I was a little kid. I was in the 3rd grade and I was in this resource class. Like, mentally challenged kids were like, this is just all of us. I was ADD and dyslexic. And so like they just put me in this class. And a very dark thing the teacher asked me, but it was really real. Her name was Mrs. Love. I'll never forget her, man. She She was the only one who actually believed in me, man. Like truly, like believed in me. And I pray one day I can meet her again because every teacher hated me, and I just needed one to speak life into me.
Wow.
And it like ironically, her name was Mrs. Love, and she
Wow.
wasn't even a teacher. She was an aide. You know, like the ones that
Like
have like the crosswalk, or the stop sign and stuff. But they asked her to help with the mentally challenged kids, and they like gave her to me. So this girl's not even a teacher, but she like spoke so much life into me. We were talking about God because I believed in God, and she was a Mexican lady and she believed in God. So we would talk about God.
Yeah.
But I'm in the 3rd grade, bro. This is a young. So like she asked me, she goes, well, what do you hope happens like when you meet God? And I couldn't answer that. And I waited a day, and I still remember this. And I had a dream that when I met God, I'm like sitting there, and I can't see God yet. In my vision, I'm just, it looks like I'm looking up at God. And I turn around, and there's more than the eyes could see of people that got introduced to Jesus because of what God used in my life.
Whoa.
And so I told her, I said, I came to school the next day and I said, I know what I want to do before I die. And she goes, what? I go, I want to be used by God. And she just looked at me. She goes, this kid's in the 3rd grade saying this. She's like, okay, yeah, but like I'm talking about academics. Like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't know. And I had to think about that too. But I remember that like as a young man, I would always think about God. But that's because my mom and dad raised me that way.
Yeah.
Like my mom would tuck me in and tell me that I love you more than anything but God. And I would just sit there being like, look at this little kid. I was like, why do you love God more than me? Like, I'm your son. Like, you know, and she would laugh. She goes, well, I can't love the gift more than the gift giver. So she's like, you're my greatest gift in the world. So how can I love you more than the one who gave it to me? And so she would teach me this at a very young age.
Wow, that dream was like a prophetic image of what God's doing through you now.
I pray. Like
bro, 1,000% it was a prophetic image. I mean, dude, you're in the 3rd grade. You get a dream of you turning back and looking at what God did through you to point people to him. And now like you're bringing the podcast tour, which has encouraged people in many different ways, not only in their faith journey. It's so funny though,
because people say that to me, but I truly don't even think of it that way. I think of like myself, like hanging my mess out. When I look at myself, like people talk about me as if like I'm more than what I even think in my head. I think in my head is like, I'm a dirty rag and look what God could do with a dirty rag. And so I'm just trying to point people to like what is bringing me so much peace and joy.
Yes.
And so when they give me the credit of meeting God, I'm like, yo, you can't think. Listen, I used to always joke with them. I'm like, listen, if you're not going to shoot the messenger, don't thank the messenger. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
I'm receiving blessings, and God is doing so much with me that alone is my like gratefulness. Like, but everything else, like if the reason I get so uncomfortable taking the responsibility or like the credit for somebody meeting Jesus is because I also weigh out how many people I probably pushed away from Jesus.
For sure.
That haunts me.
I totally understand that. I think the reality of social media and things like that, it's just like people are always going to say thank you, even though like you're humble, carry yourself humbly, and like God's like looking at your heart. And I remember I had a mentor tell me one time, he's like, look, like, because I get awkward, like if we go preach at a church and people are like, bro, thank you so much. And I'm like, dude, what? I'm like,
hey, yo, but I've seen you preach, dude, and it is wild.
Bro.
No, I'm not even gonna lie. Like I remember we were at the ASU thing and freaking Cliff just throws me into the wolf den, bro. Like I wasn't ready. I came to listen to him. That's all I wanted to do. And he's like, all right, George got it from here. And I was like, what? And I was like, oh, it's okay. I'm like, Bryce is here. I'm like, how good could he be? He just started. And then I started watching you preach. I was like, oh my God. I was like, this kid's a prodigy. I was like, the way you were just pouring out, I was like, oh no, Jesus is speaking through this man. Like, this is insane.
Yeah,
this is insane.
It's literally that, right? Jesus speaks through you on the podcast and speaks through you on tour and speaks through you on the one-on-ones. I see how you interact with people that come up to you and say, hey, it's so encouraging. And like, you know, my mentor was like, people are going to come up and say thank you. And like, he was like, and I was like, what do you tell him? And he's like, I'll tell you what I do. He says, I look at them and I say, you're welcome. And he's like, in my brain, I mentally take like a rose. He's like, a mental rose, like from that person, like a thank you. He's like, you know, if I'm leaving, you know, let's say like 20 people say thank you to him. He mentally takes an individual rose from each of those people. Then he goes home and he gets on his knees and he gives that mental bouquet of roses to the Lord and says, here's your flowers.
That's beautiful.
And I think that's such a beautiful picture because the reality of it is just like, man, people are going to be grateful for what God's doing through you. And a lot of people are just going to associate it as being you.
I cut that from its roots though, bro.
It's
Like when people come up to me and thank me, I go, dude, I have nothing to do with it. I have absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
The reason I cut it right there from its roots is because it could quickly be idolatry. They could quickly look at everything that I'm doing and then think that, oh, Jesus is making him do this. So when I sin, if I smoke, if I do anything bad, they'll be like, oh, it's okay, George is doing it. And then I become their idol. And I'm like, no. I'm like, bro, like if you felt touched by God, how I see it is this way. It's like any man is a reflection. It's like a mirror. If I position my heart towards the sun and it beams off of me to you, you can't thank me for what the sun is doing. So I always say, don't thank me. It's a reflection. I go, anybody could have a reflection. You could go meet, I had more reflections off of atheists than I've had of godly men. I've seen God more in an atheist man than I've seen in some Christian men.
For sure.
So like from the roots, like I'll just tell them like, hey, don't thank me. Like, do not thank me. The same way my mom would do that and teach me. Because bro, they might never get that. And they might go to a false wolf and they're like, yeah, and by the way, give me 15% or give me this or do this. But if they're like, if they hear it from me, somebody they look up to or they like, and I go, hey, cut that out. Like, stop. Like, position your thanks toward the Lord. Yeah. If you're thankful for me, then thank God that you let me see me or whatever. But like, don't thank me.
I feel like that's what a lot of people mean. I feel like a lot of people are really just like, man, I'm just so grateful for like God using you. But then it just comes across as like, dude, thank you so much. And then you're like I feel the same way. Like sometimes I'm like in my brain, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, especially like if you're in an environment like tour, when it's like, you know, you're going to be there, like legitimately the reality is probably everyone is going to be, or a lot of people there are going to be like attempting to thank you. And sometimes it might just be hard to be like, literally explain that to everyone. And, you know,
well, if it's a performance, I mean, I think your and I tour is different. You really heavily preach. Mine's more like comedy and like hanging out with them. So if they thank me for performing, I'm like, you're welcome. Now that was me that performed. But if it's like a biblical thing, like if people say, oh, I know Jesus, or like something about religious aspects of it, like then I'll just like kindly remind them like, hey, it ain't me. But if they're laughing and if I'm telling a joke and they're thanking me for their performance, I'll take that.
Yeah, I think that's pretty sweet. I can get behind that. Yeah, that's awesome.
But by the way, this is my young mind dealing with pride. Because I'm so new to the success that I have right now that like my only fear is, bro, like King Solomon was the smartest man in the world. He gave us Proverbs.
Yep.
And this dude turned his back against God. So like, who am I? Like, that's why I cut that right away because it's such, you know how we were joking about dealing with sin aggressively?
Yeah.
Like, bro, like that's why I hang myself out to dry on my podcast so I could hold myself accountable. Because if I don't, if I have nobody above me but God, bro, this is where Satan fell short. This is where Adam fell short. This is where David fell short. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm seeing a repetition of this. So I'm just not even letting that enter my heart. Like I'm not letting it. I try my best not to let it.
Yeah, I think that's encouraging. I think even that's something that, like I was encouraged to do that more because of you. I think because of me being encouraged by your vulnerability and things like that. That encouraged me to go, man, I'm just going to be more open, you know, like, and that's, I saw myself being more vulnerable and open and just be like, yeah, I'm struggling with this or like blah, blah, blah. And that's a big encouragement. I mean, no one knows the first time we hung out, but you like chewed me out.
Bro, till this day, I think about that. I've never done that in my life and never in my life. Can I tell that story?
Yeah.
Bro, I'm sitting watching this kid and I'm just having these daydreams of you doing amazing. But I also have this daydream where it's like the good in life is looking at you, but the bad in life is trying to get to you. And so I'm like, I keep seeing this like pride getting in your head. And so I go and I meet you and I just drill you out. I don't know why I drilled you out. I go, yo, be careful of this. Don't do this. Like, hey, get rid of this. You were telling me things like, I don't even want to hear that. But this is the first time we've ever met. I walked away and even my wife looks at me and she goes, yo, why did you go so hard on this kid? And I said, because heaven and hell are wrestling for him. And I literally walked away and I sat there with God and I go, God, I hope my pride didn't get in the way of that. And I sat there and I prayed and I go, why did I do that? But I felt like the Spirit was like, no, I wanted that.
Well, when you called me next day, I told you that like I like being talked to like that. I grew up redneck, so it's just like it's kind of like how you.
I think you needed to hear it that way to register. I don't know why, but when you said thank you for that, I was like, oh, okay, cool. All right, we're good.
Yeah,
like,
but I felt so bad for Belle because I think Belle felt so bad. But
yeah,
it was
she
like,
did because she's never seen me talk like that.
Oh, that was like a one and
never.
only
I've never
deal?
talked to anybody like that.
Dang, I'm honored.
Yeah, no. You're the only kid I've ever talked to like
Dang,
that.
let's go.
Yeah.
I got chewed out by George Janko. I'm the only one. Let's go, baby.
Bro, it was weird because I had this fear of like you going down this path. And I was like, yo, I don't know who this kid is, but like this kid is going to be so great for the kingdom. And he's so new. And I knew the success you were about to get is something that greater men than me have fell to. And so I was like, I'm going to just lay it down on this dude hard so he'll never forget. And dude, you remember it till now. I think the job was done.
Yeah.
But by the way, I promise you I've never talked to anybody. And I do apologize, but.
No, I mean, I didn't take offense to it. Like, I didn't take offense to it at all. Because I like being talked to like that. And I think.
It was just stern.
I never want to surround myself with people that are impressed by me. Because people that are impressed by you won't tell you the truth when you need to hear it, when you should hear it. Or even if like, I'm not even doing something and my like one of my close friends like Dylan and Chris, they just like remind me like, hey bro, like just be cautious of this thing. Like I know they're not impressed by me, they don't care. And that's like an encouragement. I knew the moment that we met, I was like, dang, George isn't impressed by me. And I enjoy that. That's someone I want to surround myself with. Is someone that's not impressed by me.
Why do you think of it that way? Because that was the only reason why I sat down with you. Because I was extremely impressed by you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I looked at you and I was like, wow, this kid is going to be something insane. And by the way, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think you got heat at the time. I don't think you were fired up like the way you are now. Like you have a lot of people watching it.
Definitely. Wait, like he is in like, what kind of heat?
Like you weren't as famous.
I think we met like right before things
popped off.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm telling you, when I met you, I was like, bro, this kid's going to pop off. I was like, I don't know what it is. Like when I was watching you preach, I was like, oh, this kid got it. Like there's something. And I didn't know about your Waffle House story or anything. I didn't know what God was doing in your life. But something in my heart was like, go talk to this kid and make sure he knows about this. And I was like, all right. So I took time out of my day to go meet some kid I'd never heard of in my life. And I sat down with you. And when I sat down with you, all of a sudden my heart started racing and I started preaching out this message to you. But it's so funny. The way it was happening was kind of like, if you watch the Andrew Tate episode, when I watched that back, I don't remember speaking like that. I don't remember talking like that.
Man, that was so encouraging. Like just side note, like that conversation was impacted me deeply. Thank you.
That happened like the Jordan Peterson episode that just happened. There's times where like I'll watch it back and I'm like, oh, I don't even remember me saying that at all. That's how I felt when I was talking to you that one day.
Yeah.
So like, I don't remember what I said, but I remember it was like,
bro, I'm literally thinking about, because we were eating pizza at that outdoor area in Sherman Oaks, dude. I kind of wish I had a video of it because it was so funny, but like George was like laying into me and then like a kid like came up and like wanted to say hey to George and you zoomed out and were like super intentional with him. And then after he left, you zoomed back in on me again. And I was like, oh shoot, like what is going on? It was so funny, but I am really grateful for that. And I think like I get what you mean when you say like you were like impressed, but you get what I mean when I say like people that are impressed by you.
I'm not a yes man.
Yes.
I don't care what happens to you. I'm just trying to make sure that you're on the right path.
Yeah. Those are the people that I want to be surrounded with. Now you're not in LA anymore.
Yeah. Well, I do.
Well, you come in and out, but you're not full time. You're in Arizona now.
Yeah.
And was there like just a particular reason why you moved to Arizona?
My mom. So 10 years ago, technically now almost 12 years ago, but I moved to Arizona 2 years ago. Not in the house, but I got an apartment. I moved back. But 10 years ago, when I moved out here, we're unboxing, and on the TV is Jennifer Lawrence. And she's speaking about being on the Hunger Games or whatever. And she says something to an interview. And she goes, give yourself 10 years. She looks up. My mom looks at me. She goes, God will complete you in 10 years from now. She goes, and you'll be successful enough to buy you a place next to me because I'll miss you. So please, when that time comes, be there. And 10 years later, I was able to buy a place like right next to her.
You guys live right next to each other?
She's 5 minutes down the road from me.
Bro,
That's the reason why I bought it.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. That's literally the reason why.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, dude, I'm so close to my mom and dad. And like, bro, she like recharged me. Like when I was in this industry and like, if you hear the way that these people would speak in Hollywood, it filled me up. And like, I started thinking and seeing and talking like them. Then when I go back home, she'd be like, excuse me? And then just wash me up and then send me back to where I needed to be.
Wow.
It was like it's like my healing camp.
Yeah.
And so then when I got to the level where I'm at now, I was like, oh, I need to be there a lot more than out here now.
Wow.
So like, if I'm coming to influence, if I'm going to be an influencer, then I got to make sure I know what I'm influencing and I'm not being influenced. So that was, but I have a funny story about my my house.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
Bro.
Which I love your house, by the way. It was so fun. And when we did the Avengers podcast in your living room, you guys made it look like Greece.
Yeah.
It looked like so like
When
a Coliseum.
You know how like everybody has like a materialistic thing that they love in their heart?
Yeah.
I've always wanted a home that's big that people could come and rest, recover. I could have gatherings there because I watched my mom and dad do that for everybody.
Yeah.
All holidays were near us, dinners, neighborhood people would come. I just watched them always do that. And throughout 10 years, I would always save up money and like make sure that I'm doing right with my money so that God could bless me with more money. And eventually in my heart, I was like, oh, like, I think I'm ready to buy a house like near where my mom and dad is. Yeah. I'm going to all these houses. I'm looking at all these houses. Nothing. I don't feel anything. Yeah. I was like, okay, maybe I should buy a little bit more expensive house. So I looked at this house and it's like, oh, I don't know. Then I looked at this house like, oh, I don't know. Then I walk into the house that I'm in right now. I'm walking up the stairs. I have no neighbors. It's like a very desert area. You saw that, right? Yeah. But across from me, far from me, it's a huge church. Right at the entrance of the door. Wow. You just see a big cross. And I looked, and bro, I had this like feeling of a spirit that I was like, this is your home. Before I walked in to look at this house, I felt this. So I'm like, all right. Now, mind you, if we're going to be real, I feel that all the time sometimes, and it doesn't really happen. You know what I mean? Like, so I was like, I'm going to take this with a grain of salt. So I walk in, and my mom would always tell me, if we're going to negotiate, she goes, just make sure, you know, you don't seem too impressed with the house. But my mom would walk in and go, wow. Oh, no, oh, it's okay. Like, she get caught off guard. We'd walk around the house. It was beautiful. I walk up to the real estate agent. Like, she was out doing an open house. And I said, excuse me, I'd like to put in an offer, please. And she goes, I'm sorry, we're done. And I was like, what? She's like, yeah, like we have so many offers right now. We're not taking any more offers. I'm so sorry. This is like 2 days later. And I'm like, what? So I go home to my mom. And I was like, Mom, this is so weird. And she goes, what? I go, I swear I felt like that was my house. Like it was weird. I was picturing myself praying in there, worshiping in there. Like it was weird. Like I like saw the house that I was like in. So I have no home.
Yeah.
And at the time, I'm also looking for a church because I grew up in a church, but I kind of feel like I want to go to a different church. Yeah. And I feel like God's calling me to be like, you know, I don't know, like it, that's a little complicated of a story,
no,
but
I get what you're saying.
I just, in my heart, I'm like, you know, like maybe I'm wrong at the moment, but at the time my heart's drawing me a little bit out. So I don't have a church that I'm going to, and I'm weeping to God. I'm like, God, I have no home. I got no church home. Like I need a home. Weeks go by. I get a call from somebody, and they're like, hey, do you want to meet Donald Trump? And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, you have the opportunity. He wants to shake hands with you, take a picture. He goes, do you want to do this? And I was like, wait, Donald Trump wants to meet me? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, duh. That would be awesome. Yeah. I would love to be him. Can we get him on the podcast? They're like, we'll try. I was like, so I'm just pushing for this. And I forget about the house completely. I'm so sorry. I forgot one part of the story. Yeah. We're looking at another house. This is when I gave up on looking at houses. I found this other house that I'm looking at. I'm like, maybe my dad would like this. Maybe this is it. So I send him the address. He calls me. He goes, I'm outside. I go, what are you talking about? I'm outside. You're not here. He goes, I don't know. I'm at this house. You sent me this house. I'm here. And I send him the address again. He goes, oh, what the heck? I'm 8 minutes away. I'll see you soon. Remember this story.
Okay.
So So then I go to suit supply. I'm getting a suit. I'm getting dressed out. Now I'm not even thinking about the house.
Right.
I'm just thinking about meeting Donald Trump.
Right.
I go to sleep that night, and all I keep thinking about is like, God, please, like when I meet him, like make sure I'm like thinking about you. I'm not thinking about anything else. If I need to talk to him about something, I'm just prepping myself for Donald Trump. I go to sleep. I wake in my dream. I wake up in this dream, and there's a bright light in front of me. And I have to bow my head in front of him, and I'm weeping. And he goes, I've given you your homes. I wake up, I forget, and Belle goes, how'd you sleep? As soon as she says, how did you sleep? I remember my dream. And I go, Belle, God said I have my home. As soon as it left my mouth, I get a call from the real estate agent. I answer, she goes, hey, that house fell through. She goes, do you want it? She goes, but I'm wearing a suit right now, and I got to go meet Trump. So I go, yeah, but I got to go meet somebody real quick. Can I meet you afterwards? She goes, yeah, I'll hold it down. And I go, okay. So I go meet Trump. Where I meet Trump, I learned 3 weeks later, was the church that I attend to now.
Whoa.
And the church is called Dream City.
Wow.
Then I go to the real estate to meet the house, or the lady at the house. I go in there. We make an offer. My dad rushes because we want to inspect the house before we do all that stuff. He comes in, he goes, oh, George, this is the house that I showed up at when you sent me that address.
Wow.
So God took him there randomly in front of that house. And so the day that I had the dream, I walked through God's house that he wanted me to worship at.
Wow.
And then after I walked through the house that he wanted me to worship at, he let me walk through the home that I have now. All in the dream that I had too.
Crazy.
It was weird, bro.
Praise God, man.
It was really cool, bro. Now, every time I'm in there, I'm just like, I'll have like fears in my heart. I'm like, oh, what if I like don't make it and like I can't afford this house anymore? I'm like, bro, like, what am I? Why am I? The devil always tries to steal your joy. I'm like, dude, the dude gave me a dream, bro. If he's gonna take it, it's for his will. Then let him take it.
For sure.
But yeah, it's been every time I walk into that house, bro, like I just sit there and I worship and I just go, this is crazy. Like I and by the way, I don't think I have any like powers or anything, but I think because I just focus so much and I have so much faith that I'm able to see things and feel things that majority of people can't because they're so focused on the world, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, bro. I think you got great spiritual gifts, and I think you're sharp.
Yeah.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah,
Praise God. And that's
really
gonna be
cool.
that's gonna be the house that you like raise the family in.
You know, my mom said the other day, and I was like, it's so funny. I've never really been attached to things. So like I love the house and I think it's beautiful. But if God was like, hey, you got to bounce tomorrow and live in a smaller house or an apartment or like even go to a bigger house, like I have no attachments to things, bro.
Yeah.
I've like, it's so weird. I've never had
cool.
attachments to things.
That's so cool.
When my mom and dad sat me down to move out of our family home, I was like excited. I was like, oh, we're leaving? Where are we going? And they're like, you're not sad? And I go, no. You know why? Because I when I was on a plane, I got really sad one day when I looked down and I saw all these homes and all these people. And I was young and I cried. And my mom goes, why are you crying? I go, look at all these people we'll never meet. And she goes, why does that affect you? I said, bro, this world, we only have this much amount of time and people stay in the same four walls.
Wow.
And I'm like, that's wild to me. Go outside and meet somebody. Go outside into a different country. Go, if you're living in one area and you're like, hey, I feel stuck and anxious, dude, it's probably because you're not supposed to be there anymore and you're too scared to leave. Get up, leave, sell your possessions. Now I understand when God said, sell your possessions and go preach. And the guy walked away weeping because he knew he couldn't. It's because he was a slave to the possessions that he had. And bro, I pray to God, I will never be ever in my life a slave to my possessions, bro. Because they're all going to collect moth and rust. And I don't want to be collecting that. I'd rather collect the treasures in the kingdom. So if God says, hey, get up and go to Africa, then I'll go up and go to Africa. If he's saying, hey, I want you to live in a beautiful neighborhood, then I'll go up and live in a beautiful neighborhood. Wherever he wants me to go, then I pray that I go.
That's so cool. So encouraging. Yeah, I think again, like that open-handed life that you live is so encouraging.
It's freedom, bro.
It's freedom, and it's like it's literally, I want to encourage you because I know that you encourage me a lot, so I want to encourage you. I feel like oftentimes our biggest strengths as humans in character qualities are the things that we beat ourselves up the most about.
Yeah. And
I really want to encourage you, man. Like you are a man that is humble and carries himself in humility, and like I see that in you because I love your zeal for being like, man, I hate pride. Pride sucks, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like right there with you. But man, like you're incredibly humble and it encourages me.
Thank you, bro.
And I appreciate you. What are like some goals coming up with the podcast that like,
Dude, you know, my whole life, dude, I've been just, I want this to be like this. I want this to be that. And then when I look back, God has blessed me with like directions. I just go places and I flow. In the Bible, I think it's in Revelations, but they describe life like smoke, and it could be one thing one day and then completely something else immediately. So I'm not gonna. I stopped. I know it sounds crazy, and a lot of people might disagree with me, but I stopped planning my futures. I just think about today and what I think God wants me to deal with in the future, but I don't set stones in the future. What my dreams are right now is that I'm a performer. I can make movies and TV shows. I can make music. I can do all these things. Some are going to be for the glory of God, and some are just going to be art forms that could just be like fishermen, where I go out into the world and people are like, oh, I like that work. And then they could go visit my work for God.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, so I just want to go out and create just the way that my father was creating.
Yeah.
He was a carpenter for a reason. He liked to create things.
Yeah.
And I just want to create. And in a few years, God willing, the trajectory, like in the next 2 years, I won't have any debt at all. Like no homes will have debt, no cars will have debt, no nothing will have debt. And everything I'll make will be a bonus. And I just pray that God will use me to if he's going to put money in my hand, that I pray that I put it in the hands that need it. And if he's going to put fame in my hands, I pray that I am exposed and influencing in things that need to be. And if he needs to humble me in front of the world, and that's the scariest part, then I pray that it opens the eyes of others so they don't need to be humbled. But whatever he needs to use me for, I'm in. Because every time I tell him what I want, I always suffer. And every time I ask for his will, I thrive. So like just don't plan anymore, man. I'm just living in today and asking for today my daily bread and just thanking him. But yeah, every time I look towards the future, I got super anxious. Every time I looked at the past, I got depressed. So I think that the reason present is called present is because it's a present from God, and I just want to cherish that gift and not take it for granted.
Dang. Encouraging.
Thanks.
I appreciate you so much.
Appreciate you, bro.
Dude, thanks for coming on the pod. I appreciate you a ton. I love talking with you and catching up with you. And yeah, I'm just grateful for you and just so grateful for what God is doing through you. And thank you for just being willing and saying yes to everything God's doing.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, thanks.
How old are you, dude?
21.
Bro. When I was 21, I was a Benihana chef.
No way.
Yeah.
Out here?
No, I was 20 when I was a Benihana chef.
Out here?
I was a Benihana chef. No, in Arizona.
Oh, you know they don't have yum yum sauce there?
Yeah, bro, I hated people like you that said, you got yum yum sauce? I'm like, bro, no, I don't got yum yum sauce.
Dude, that's the best stuff.
Yum yum sauce?
Yeah, yum yum.
I'd have people that ask for extra like garlic butter. No, more garlic, bro. I'm like, bro, you're gonna have diabetes, dude. Chill out.
Yum yum's the best, bro.
I've never even had it.
Really? It will change your life.
But it's called yum yum sauce.
Dude, it's so good. If you get the chance, wait, do you guys have a show in Atlanta?
Yes.
I'm going to send you a hibachi spot to go to.
You're from Atlanta?
I'm from North Georgia, yeah. About an
Atlanta,
hour from
Georgia. Yeah, sorry, my brain just went so bad with geography.
I'm going to send you a hibachi spot that you got to go to.
Cool.
You have to go there, though.
Okay.
All right, deal.
Okay, deal.
Amen. All right, that's how you end. Thanks, guys, for watching. Appreciate you guys. Guys, thank you so much for watching and listening to this episode. If you guys like it, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Spotify, Instagram, and TikTok. Bless you guys, and see you guys next week for the next episode.